Hi folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. I've told you before, my buddy Dave Swanson, which probably many of you listening to this report remember Dave when he was president of North Country Savings Bank and then later CEO, and he's still a member of the board, I believe. But David moved out of this area and he's down in the Finger Lakes now. But Dave has developed this hobby of making soft plastic lures. And I want to pass on one of the things that he did in a little video that he puts on his website, on his YouTube channel, that illustrates something that I think you'll be interested in. Now, most people enjoy this time of the year fishing stuff on the surface, and there's no better surface lure than an imitation frog. And so Dave is making these frogs with their little tails that paddle on the water, and with a soft plastic frog you can use a hook and make it weedless. The hook that you use is just like hooking a Texas rig worm, only you're Texas rigging a frog. So he went out 3 or 4 nights ago to his favorite shallow water area on Cayuga Lake, back where there's lily pads and all kinds of good stuff for largemouth bass. And he has 2 molds for making these soft plastic frogs. His favorite is a 4.5-inch mold, and it's similar to all the other frogs that you'll get, like a horny toad, or every company makes a soft plastic frog. But he also, by mistake, bought a 3.5-inch mold. And so he made these smaller frogs, identical shape, identical design of the mold. So he went out and he experimented. And he did a video on this, and lo and behold, he didn't catch a thing on the 4.5-inch frogs. And that's what he fished first, because that was his favorite. So then he downsized. He went to a 3.5-inch that he had made, and voila! All of a sudden, he started catching largemouth after largemouth bass. And he recorded it. He has this on video. And I find this so interesting, because what it doesn't mean that the 3.5 inch is better. It was better that evening that he was out. 4.5-inch frogs are fine. And honestly, if you would watch a largemouth bass or even a smallmouth bass, in the Grass River, I catch smallmouth bass that are 6, 7, 8 inches long. And you would not believe how big a lure they will hit, because I'm trying to catch bigger fish. And they'll hit lures that are half their size. Well, if you take a largemouth bass that's 18 inches long and has a great big mouth, they will eagerly hit a 9-inch bait, a 9-inch offering, a 9-inch fish that swims by. So it doesn't mean that a 3.5-inch frog is easier or better for them to eat. What it means is that they have different moods, they have different times, or let's look at it another way. Maybe what they have been feeding on in that area where you're fishing is stuff that is 3.5 inches long. It isn't 4.5 inches long. So they're used to that type of food that they've been eagerly and readily being able to eat. So when you put something there that size, it works. And you know what? That's the old words for that: match the hatch. When you go out fishing, you try to match what you think those fish have been eating, what they want to eat. It may be a case of matching the color to something that is like what they're eating. If they're feeding on leeches, then you want to use something black or dark brown. If they're feeding on crayfish and those crayfish are in a certain molding state, then maybe you want to use something orangish. And if those fish are feeding on other minnows, especially things like smelt or some of the shiners and so forth, then you might want to use something silver and white and black, shades of another fish. That's what makes fishing so much fun, so interesting, so challenging, and so changeable. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.